righty, boys and girls, we're going to bring in King Z because we're going to have yet another thrilling discussion about Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I don't even remember what episode this was. This was 5, right? Are we 5 of 8? Okay.
Yep, we are past the halfway point.
Past the halfway point. And you know what? I will just jump right in and say, thank God we're past the halfway point, and thank God it seems like it's a little bit back on the adventure track this week. I'm back to where I was pre-episode 4. I had a lot more fun watching this, and I got really strong Amblin Entertainment, E.T. Goonies vibes from this one when they get into the treasure hunt aspect. So right from the go, I'm like, oh, thank God. Dude, it's been a long Christmas day. Anybody out there watching the video that's got little ones, they know by about 6 o'clock on Christmas, dude, you're tired, man. So I watched this at like 4. I was like, oh man, I hope I remember what I saw. But I'm like, okay, I got some pep for this because it was actually kind of fun. But what did you think?
I think this was the episode that should have happened earlier because it's more of that Goonies underground type feel. But I don't know. I think the last episode hurt me. Like, that whole Disney letdown that you just expecting, it's starting to set in a little bit.
Like maybe they slipped in a shot to your ribs and might have cracked one, and now you gotta guard that side going forward for the next few.
You gotta get back. I'm waiting for the bell to ring so I can, get some water, get some ice packs on my shoulders.
Oracle's gonna throw the spool in there, right? She's gonna just rub down the shoulder real quick. She's gonna ice it up. Cut me, Mick. She's gonna open it up. Yeah. Dude, it wasn't that bad. Come on, dude. It was just a weak episode, but it wasn't awful. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't anything you saw in Ahsoka. Like, let's be clear, right?
What I mean by it is that it's just that Disney letdown. Like, you go in with that open mind. You're hoping for a good show, and then that it's the hope that kills.
Yeah, it is a dangerous weapon. Yeah, for sure. But so they get back on the adventure path this week in the Skeleton Crew. They left the Civil War faction last week. They got their little MacGuffin coordinates to where they need to go next. Whichever.
No. This was them getting the 33 to actually tell them.
Oh, right. That's right. Because we start the episode, he's tied up, right? And like, oh, it'll hold, it won't hold. You turn him on, you don't turn him on. And I'm like, okay, at least they're trying to get us somewhere to do something. They get there, they have the adventure. We'll discuss that. I got a bone to pick right away with this episode up front, though. As we saw in the previous episode, 33 turns on them like he's still loyal to the old captain, and he's like, oh, tear them to pieces. Mm-hmm. But then, like, when they turn him back on here, he's like, nah, I'm cool. Like that's overridden now because they get the off switch, like it's a hard reset. But he still has all his memory.
Yeah, it falls in that Disney writing of changing motivations at a drop of a hat.
See, but this is what we were talking about last night when we had Mages Guild on for our Dune Prophecy finale review. You guys should go check out that show and then watch that review. I had a blast doing that. This franchise, to your larger point, hasn't earned that in years with me. So like I have to when I have to like shank them up for the score for the episode if we ever do that. I got to deduct a point because it's like, no, they restrained him. They were afraid of him. They turned it back on. And not only did he not kill him, he was like, cool, I'll do what you want. I will continue to comply with the new captain.
The best part of that scene is him breaking through the ropes like it wasn't even an inconvenience.
Dude just busted out like Superman. Like it was kind of funny. I will say this episode did have a couple of comedic beats like that in a couple of different places. Like when they get to the planet, they go to the resort planet. And one of the security guards puts a restraining bolt on 33, so you can't commit any violent acts. The guard turns around, and 33 is like, violent acts, I oughta, and he tries to go for the choke, and it shocks him. But that's kind of funny. They had a couple of funny beats. I felt like that was back on.
I think 33 had the majority of the comedy in this one, especially when they get to the planet they're supposed to go to. It's supposed to be a pirate's lair, and they've converted it into a spa. And he's like, where's the battle pits? Where's...
Now the battle pits of the yoga studio now, whatever they said. He had an under his breath comment to everything the tour guide was laying out, which is kind of funny. So he did have Nick Frost did Nick Frost in that. It was pretty good.
He had a lot of fun. I bet he had a lot of fun being this character.
Oh, for sure. The guy seems like a giant heart of gold dork kind of guy. Like there's no way he didn't enjoy being a pirate on the Disney Star Wars pirate show. For sure. But let me ask you this though, a darker note on the Disney being Disney and what they're politically known for. Was it weird for them to work in potential like pedo jokes into like this dude checking in with like 4 not kids to the hotel after being told kids are banned here kind of thing. Like I got a little creeped out by a lot of that exchange, just knowing Disney's kind of weird, you
Yeah.
know? My radar tickled for that. I was like, oh, this is kind of scummy. What can you do? You picking up any of those vibes, or are you just kind of just taking it at
I
face?
think it was more of if you have enough money, you can pay for people to look the other way.
Right, which is how they executed that on like on the nose level where he kept, and that was another bit of the comedy too, where he fed the girl, the 1 gold credit, then it cost him 2, and he started to flex. No, I want the upgrade. I'll give you 3. And she's like, oh, there's kids, and he's like, chink, there goes the whole pile. I'm like, okay, that's pretty funny. So like it hit its comedic beats.
It was at right after the bounty hunter
Yeah.
came, and he had a different name. That was a funny
Okay.
joke too by Neil.
Again,
how many names does this
funny.
guy have?
And again, funny. That's what I mean. They did a lot of that. It's back row comedy. You know what I mean? Like there's the scene happening, and it's the peanut gallery discussion that's going on. That's kind of tangentially funny to what it is. But as much as I like the comedy there, I'm like, dude. So he shows up on yet another planet and runs face first into yet another person that knows him by yet another name. Like,
and
okay,
that wants to do harm to him.
And that right, dude, because you screwed me over before. And again, the running joke is she's one of 2 people that tells the kids don't trust him.
Yeah,
Because they meet the giant catfish monster, Cathalop or whatever its name was.
Yeah, the one that has all the security around to protect him.
And he gives John and I'm not going to work here anymore. Gives him the sniff, and he's like, I don't trust this guy. And John's like, come on, fucking, I just got here. Like, I'm not that big of a dickhead. But then we see that he's kind of a dickhead.
Yep.
Kind of earns the dick bag thing.
I
thought they timed that out nicely.
Yeah, I like the scavenger hunt of them looking around, but the thing I didn't like, and one of the things we're talking about, like Disney and their motivations changing, like every chance they get, the kids forget that they're on an adventure and go back to just for some reason goofing off. It makes no sense. Yeah. Like they get to the room. He's like, we're in a lot of danger. We got to get this done. You want to get back home, and then all of a sudden they're jumping on the beds and hitting each other pillows,
pillow fight and shit.
They forget that they're scared. Like the writers wrote them to forget that they're scared
and that they've been shot at and pursued previously in several episodes. I think that the writers had I'll almost give them a half of a free pass here for this. They have a daunting task. They have to have that element of danger, but it is a kids show, so they're supposed to do some kids stuff. And I think they were trying to cue that up for some comedy where they have John Nanad Ramalamsham from Super Troopers, whatever his name was. They tried to set him up as being like the exasperated babysitter where he finally loses his cool and he's like, enough, we're being pursued. Like it escalated kind of gradually to get there. But I know I feel what you're saying exactly. Like the writer in my head's like, yeah, dude, no, like they're in hot pursuit. Like pirates are coming for us. They know where we've gone.
But see, they would capture the same thing with the kids when they're in the treasure room. Like they would want to touch stuff. They would want to see more. They want to play with like the jewels and stuff like that. That's how you captured like the kid element of it. You wouldn't have a kid that's scared all of a sudden go jump on the bed and have a pillow fight when they know they're in danger, when they are scared, when they are homesick. I mean, just was it 5 minutes before that, Wim's in the back room crying because he misses his dad.
Yep. I think that was Disney's very flat-footed way of trying to set up the double cross that we get to later, where they've kind of spoon-fed us a little bit that Ja likes the kids, that he may not be a complete self-serving douche knuckle, like he may leg out and be a good guy. So they get you right up to the line where he's about to leave the room when Wim's crying and does the whole, I miss my mom, my dad, my mom's not coming back or whatever. And then he comes in and gives him the semi-Jedi speech and uses the Force and pulls the holopad thing back up on him. I think they were trying to lead you down that path. That way later they could be like, bah, nope, scumbag. So I think that was their very heavy-footed way of trying to get that done. But let's talk. Can we talk about Wim though? Because I feel like they tried to give him that boss move moment later, and then played it totally for yucks, and I was really disappointed by that. I know a lot of people thought that was funny, but I'm like, I thought this kid was supposed to be the lead on the show. He very clearly is not. And then when they finally set him up for that Percy Jackson moment, as we've called it, they played for a gag, and he saves them eventually. But like, wouldn't it have been cooler for him to light that up and maybe take a half-hearted swing at Ja and then knock open the trapdoor and get them all, freed up from the thing that went down. We can talk about that scene in depth.
He does the whole stance, and he doesn't know how to
he's upside down.
Turn it on.
Right.
That would have been, I think, would have been better than him pull it and then just have him pull it away from him instead of him doing it upside down and shooting
like a goof.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, come on. Like the kids had no development at all. Like through, like they keep mentioning, I wanted the adventure. That's what I'm saying. He really hasn't. Fern has kind of, because she's starting to cry and like be down on herself. She's on like a decline. Like she started high, and she's like realizing that the world is bigger than she is as a 12-year-old.
And then you had Neo with who was supposed to have something in the last episode, but he reverted right back to what he was before.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's I think that this show's lucky that in this episode they really got into the adventuring, treasure seeking stuff with like puzzles to solve, booby traps, the acid pool, potential danger there. The pirates are right there. We saw the pirates shoot one of the guard. Urkel shot a guard. Like, straight up blasting him center mass and put him down. Can I do that? Like, oh, yeah, no, you did that, dude. It was you. It wasn't anybody else.
But he didn't last long because he turned into acid.
We think. We don't know who was behind the door, but I thought that was some cold-blooded shit.
If you had the subtitles on, it said Gunther.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, never mind. He's done. He's probably done. That tonal shift, and this is again why you bring in somebody like Jude Law, I guess, somebody that can actually deliver kind of some menace when he wants to. Because it was appropriate menace for a kid show. I mean, we got knives to Fern's throat, and he's ordering 33 to drown the pirates in acid and shit. We can hear him kind of squelch out, as the acid's starting to rise and whatnot. Well, I'm kind of confused on a point, so I think I have to play my King Z Explain It card for the week here, right? So they find out that basically Aten's an old Republic mint planet, like that they just make money there. That's why it's a treasure planet, right? So I don't get what exactly is Janad's end game here? If I ditch the kids and go there, how do I get money from the planet? How do I take the planet over and make this work for me? Like, I don't get the need for the double cross. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Do they not know that there's security around this man? Do they not
know that there's droids with guns? They run shit.
Right. They have kids, so there must be adults.
Right. And I'm like, you take the kids and you ransom them back and you still get paid. I don't get you still could have done that. I mean, you didn't need to do that. If you just brought them back, you were going to get paid. Like that was Fern's point. Like we had a deal. They will pay to bring us back. And that kind of brings me to the only other thing I wanted to discuss in this episode. I feel like they're bringing the parents in late. Like not the parents are now working towards like, hey, we got to do some shit because the supervisor and these droids aren't shit. Like they're not going to go find our kids. Like we need to go through this corporate covert espionage thing to do something. I think maybe I needed more of that earlier, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago at this point, because they only had that one scene. Was it last episode or was it the episode before? Like we're all
episode before.
Circle. Yep, that's what I mean. So, and it was 2 minutes. It was just to see them cry about the kids not being there and how security's not going to help them,
Yep.
But I like where that's going. I like the dad and supervisor are in on trying to sort out how we're going to do this. Because I was thinking maybe dad was the pirate, like you said, after the fact. The initial pirate that maybe crash landed on the on Ad, but I don't think they're going that
So I'm moving to that the supervisor now is now the pirate.
Yep.
And they didn't show you what he looked like. There was a problem with the image, which they played up.
The video glitched. Yep. I'm like, it's not Wim's dad. I'm guessing it's not Wim's dad. I'm thinking it's the mysterious supervisor who all the grown-ups keep like referencing.
Yeah.
But I don't know that necessarily any of them have seen them either. Like it's some like Wizard of Oz kind of stuff. Like, I think the man behind the curtain thing going on. That's why there's the supervisor's tower, but nobody's been in it, and the supervisor lives there. So I think that's kind of like not an allegory, like a comp, like a comparative inspiration, whatever the word I'm looking for. It's been a long day, sue me. But I don't know, man. I'm glad it was 40 minutes. Like it's when its runtime says 46 and it runs 40. When the episode ended, I was like, oh snap, it ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Smee, take this law prisoner and charge them with mutinous intent against the captain. I'm like, okay, that's some stakes and kid danger for going forward. But
yeah,
I had enough fun with it. I'll be obviously watching the rest. I mean, you're gonna watch the rest too. But
yeah, I mean, there's only 3 more episodes, so it's only 3 more weeks.
I'm surprised this one didn't bring you back on with the adventure stuff as it went down. especially with all
it
like kind of the sight
was
gags they played with like the mud and the aliens and things like that.
it was mostly the changing of motivations at a drop of a hat type feel to
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's just I don't
I
know
mean,
this felt.
besides the droid though, whose motivations changed? So we knew Ja was kind of duplicitous.
It
That
was
he was
that
that
it just
scoundrel.
the kids are not like I was talking about, like they're being shot at, they're crying, they're missing their dad, and next thing you know,
I
they're
see.
jumping on
Yeah,
the bed, having pillow
yeah.
fights,
Their
they're blowing their
characterization's not
cover.
consistent.
Like KB
Right.
barely talks, and then she's like, "We're
Yeah.
not wise men, we're kids. Did you not forget that you had a cover
Mm-hmm.
here?"
Yeah. 4 seconds later. Yeah, I thought that was a bit odd. So
It's
yeah, I think
stuff
maybe
like
they.
that that just it started drawing me back out. Like, oh wait, this is a Disney show.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough one to recover from, given their track record with some of their other stuff. But again, I think that even if this is a weak episode by your standard, I'm guessing it's still not at least offensive yet in terms of how poorly it's put together. Like I think it's still passably adventurous, right?
Yeah, it's a kid show. It's a kid
Yep.
show. It shouldn't be appealing to me in a greater level than it is. So
Mm.
I give it that. But like it's going like almost like Hannah Montana type Disney kid show.
Yeah, it's getting close, especially as more of the characters is all they can manage is kind of like crying and being upset at like the situation. Like you got to save some of that for like the Dark Knight of the Soul stuff. Like Wim, that like this was it. This was his Dark Knight of the Soul. Like that, this is all he gets now in my eyes. He has the big screw up, but then he saves them. He doesn't get to get all mopey again because who can he be mopey to? He already gassed for an up. He already lost John and whatever. He's gonna cry to Neil. I mean, that's his best friend, maybe. Maybe that's where they go. But, so we'll be back next week for episode. What did we just say? 6. 6 is next. Next
Yeah,
thing.
6 is next. 6, 7, and 8. That's all we got left.
Alrighty, then why don't we call this one here and reset for Frostcast? Let's get out of here.
All right. See ya.